Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back again today with another fantasy football video. Today's video is Week 2 running back rankings. Before I start the video, I'd like to ask if you could please go down below and click that subscribe button, because not only is it going to help me, it's also going to help you guys, because I make videos daily, more than one a day, talking about fantasy football, and they are all going to help you win your fantasy football championship, so you should really consider clicking that subscribe button. Also, follow me on Twitter at NotoriousFNTSY for daily updates on Twitter. Now, time to get into the rankings. My number one overall running back for this week, week 2, is Alvin Kamara going against the LA Rams. Now, I know it's kind of hard to rank these guys. Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley, Ezekiel Elliott, my top 3, all should be great this week. But I think Alvin Kamara is going to be a huge part of the offense this week going against the Rams. I think they're going to be able to, when Darnold is coming Goff's way, he's going to be able to dink and dunk the ball off to Alvin Kamara, and Alvin Kamara should have a huge game this week. My number 2 is Saquon Barkley going against Buffalo. I think Saquon Barkley, regardless of how shit the offense is, how shit the offensive line is, how good the defense is, will always have a good game. So I'm always locked and loaded with Saquon Barkley being one of my top 5 backs every single week. Number 3 is Ezekiel Elliott going up against the Washington Redskins at Washington. Last week, he did not get all that much use, but I think this week, that was because of he just got back. He wasn't really practicing with the team now. He's had a full week of practice, played it in the game. He should be good to go this week. Should be amazing to fire up a lot of confidence in Ezekiel Elliott going into this week. Now, number 4 is Nick Chubb going versus Cleveland. Versus is actually at the New York Jets. I just reversed Nick Chubb and Le'Veon Bell's what they're doing. Obviously, they're clearly Nick Chubb is clearly not playing against Cleveland, but he's playing against the Jets, and I think that this should be the easiest game ever for the Browns. Without Sam Darnold, the Jets are just going to fucking be nothing, and Nick Chubb is going to destroy the Jets. Should be very easy for him. Now, number 5, Le'Veon Bell. Now, I think Le'Veon Bell is still going to be good because they're going to rely a lot more on the rushing game, and quarterback like Trevor Siemian is going to rely off of dumping the ball off to Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell may catch the ball 3,000 times in this game. That's why I have him as my number 5 running back. Number 6, we have James Conner of the Pittsburgh Steelers going up against the Seattle Seahawks. Now, James Conner last week only had about 10, 11, or 12 fantasy points. I forgot which one it was around that area. And that was because he didn't play. That's because the Patriots were just so goddamn good. They just destroyed him. They shut him down. The Seahawks won't be able to do that. The Seahawks allowed Mr. Andy Dalton to run all over him last week. I think James Conner is going to be able to run all up and through them this week, and I'm confident in him being the number 6 back this week. Number 7, we have Dalvin Cook going up against Green Bay. Now, Dalvin Cook got a lot of use last week. Kirk Cousins only threw the ball 10 times with 9 completions. So I think this week they're obviously not going to rely too much on the running game, or as much on the running game. But I think that Green Bay's defense is pretty good, but I think that Dalvin Cook will get enough use in the passing game and through the rushing game to be able to be a top 10 back this week going against Green Bay. Now, number 8, we have Austin Eckler, running back of the LA Chargers. Now, I know last week he was the number 2 running back, but this week he's playing against Detroit. I think it should be still pretty solid every single week until Melvin Gordon gets back. He should be a top 10 back probably every single week. We saw him run the ball, catch the ball, do it all. I like him this week against Detroit. Number 9, our number 9 running back is Todd Gurley going up against the New Orleans Saints. Now, I know Todd Gurley last week put up a mad stinker for you. He didn't score that many points. He was kind of disappointing. This week, though, I think that's going to change. I think that he won't get vultured. Well, he didn't really get vultured because he wasn't in, but I think that he'll be in more on those touchdown plays. I think he'll be able to score this week against New Orleans, where they will really need Todd Gurley. They didn't seem to need him against the Panthers. Number 10, we have Chris Carson, running back of the Seattle Seahawks. 2 touchdowns last week. Amazing game for Chris Carson. Going up against Pittsburgh this week. I'm very confident in him being a top 10 back this week. May have even ranked him above Todd Gurley, but it's hard to rank Todd Gurley low because you know his potential. Chris Carson could end up being a top 5 back this week if all things go to form. The Pittsburgh defense did seem too good against the Patriots last week. Obviously, the Seahawks are not the Patriots. We know that, but the Seattle likes running the ball a lot. They are going to be running the ball a lot with Chris Carson this week, and I'm confident in him having a strong game. At number 11, we have David Johnson going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I think this will be a pretty pass-heavy game, and David Johnson is obviously a pass-catching back, also runs the ball a lot. David Johnson last week had a very strong game 1 last week going up against the Lions. I think he should have a pretty strong game this week. I just don't have him ranked higher because a lot of these guys ahead of him, I know exactly what is going to happen in the game, I feel like, but I don't know. Really, what could really happen is that the Kansas City Chiefs just fucking destroy the Cardinals That's honestly something that could happen, and David Johnson doesn't get as much work. Number 12 is Mark Ingram, my final top 12 back, Mark Ingram, going up against the Arizona Cardinals. No, he's not going up against the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know what I was smoking when I wrote all this down, but I don't even know. I don't even think that the yes, okay, I'm so dumb. David Johnson is not going up against Kansas City. He is playing against the let's see. He's playing against fuck. Oh, I'm so dumb. David Johnson is playing I don't even know, but don't even keep in mind what I said. I still think David Johnson should have a pretty solid game. Now, the next game, Mark Ingram is going against Arizona, I think. Yes, it is Ravens versus Arizona. So David Johnson is playing against the Ravens. I'm sorry that I wrote that down wrong. Mark Ingram should have a solid game as well. Clearly, Baltimore likes running the ball. Mark Ingram is their number one back, so I have a lot of confidence in him being a number one back in fantasy football as long as he is that number one back on the team. Now, if Justice Hill emerges, takes a lot of those touches, then we're going to be seeing Mark Ingram fall down in the rankings. But as of right now, I'm very confident in him. Next game, 13 through 24, not next game, 13 through 24 rankings. Number 13 is Derrick Henry going up against Indianapolis Colts. Now, I think that Derrick Henry, every week that he's healthy, is going to probably be a top 15 back. It showed to me, what I saw from last game is that they are committed to the run game. They're committed to using Derrick Henry, something I wasn't sure if they were entirely committed to in the offseason. I think they are committed to that. He is going to run all over the Colts, and I'm very confident in that. The number 14 guy, this is where there's a bit of a confusion here on who to put near each other. I think a lot of these guys go around each other. Number 14, Damian Williams going up against the Oakland Raiders. Now, I think that Damian Williams should have a pretty solid game this week. Now, obviously, Damian Williams has to deal with LaShawn McCoy also being on the same team. If it was just Damian Williams, he'd probably be a top 5 back every single week, but that is not the case. Damian Williams was catching a lot of passes last week in PPR formats. That's obviously amazing for you. He should be pretty solid every single week, especially in the shootout against the Raiders, where I think they'll be passing the ball a lot, and Damian Williams will get that work. Now, number 15 is the running back on the other side of the ball of the Oakland's ball, Josh Jacobs, running back. Obviously, this is a fucking running back video going up against Kansas City. He should be pretty solid as well. Now, he's a guy who can also catch passes. Last week, he scored 2 touchdowns and over 100 scrimmage yards. First one to do it since LaDainian Tomlinson in 2001. This week, he could set another record by doing that crazy shit again. Can he do it against Kansas City? I could see it being completely possible. It may be a shootout, but Josh Jacobs is going to run the ball a lot. He is a pass-catching back. Gruden will call those pass-catching plays for Josh Jacobs, and I like him a lot this week. Now, number 16, we have Leonard Fournette going up against the Houston Texans. Now, I think that Leonard Fournette is a guy that, when healthy, just like Derrick Henry, is going to get a lot of that work. He is going to be a guy, especially when Foles is hurt and it's the Gardner Minshew show. I think that they're going to run the ball a lot. Houston's defense was okay last week. I think they might be better this week. Leonard Fournette should still have a solid game. Number 17 is Kerryon Johnson going up against the LA Chargers. Now, I have a hard time ranking Kerryon Johnson because I see his talent is a top 10 guy going against the Chargers, but the way that Matt Patricia uses him could make him a potential RB3 this week. I think this week it should be better going up against the Chargers than against going up against the Cardinals. I think this week should be pretty solid for him. He can catch those passes. He is a solid running back. If Matt Patricia will get that pencil that was in his ear that's probably up his ass out of there, then we'd be pretty fine with Kerryon Johnson being a good running back from here on out. I'm pretty confident starting him this week. Number 18, we have the other Johnson, Duke Johnson, Houston Texans running back going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I think that the Texans should be able to run the ball a decent amount. Duke Johnson saw that splitting work with Carlos Hyde last week, still put up a solid game. I think this week he could put up a solid game as well. Obviously, he has that PPR floor because he's probably going to catch 4 to 5 balls a game, and I like that going into this week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, number 19, we have Sony Michel at the Miami Dolphins. Now, if Sony Michel did not show up last week, if he doesn't show up this week against the Dolphins, then that is a bad time for you having drafted Sony Michel, because this week against the Miami Dolphins, he should be able to run all over them. It should be easy. It's like the Dolphins don't even have 11 guys out there. There's no one out there. They're just going to run through them. They all requested a trade. No one may even show up to the game. Now, James White, his teammate, is not ranked on here. Reports, as I'm recording this, the reports earlier, I'm recording this the night before you're seeing this, I saw that James White may not go to the game because he is having a child. Now, congratulations to him if that's true. Who knows if that's even true, because I saw a report that maybe that's not true and he will be playing. If James White is playing, you can put him in this 20 to 24 spot over here. But obviously, if he's not playing, you just take him out of your lineup. Number 20, we have Marlon Mack. Indianapolis Colts going against the Tennessee Titans. He is one of those guys that doesn't catch many passes, just runs the ball a lot. The Tennessee Titans defense seemed to be pretty good last week against Nick Chubb, but I think that Marlon Mack will be able to get it done this week and be a pretty solid back for you. Number 21, Devonta Freeman going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I'm not entirely confident in starting Devonta Freeman this week. It was scary how bad he was last week against the Vikings. I think that this week, maybe he will get more usage. Maybe he'll be able to get it done. Hope that's what you hope. You drafted him highly. You have to play him. You're going to play him, but you need to hope that he has a better week than last week. Number 22, we have Giovanni Bernard / Joe Mixon going up against the San Francisco 49ers. Now, there's a slash there because as I'm recording this, I have no idea if Joe Mixon is going to go or not. Reports are that he's been practicing. He should be good to go. So I would probably play Joe Mixon, not Giovanni Bernard. Obviously, if Giovanni Bernard is only a play if Joe Mixon is out. Otherwise, you're just playing Joe Mixon strictly. Don't need anything to do with Giovanni Bernard. Number 23, we have Matt Breida going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. Now with Tevin Coleman being injured, Matt Breida propels himself into a top 25 potential fantasy role this week and for the next coming weeks. Now, I do think that Mostert is going to get some work. How much work that is going to be up to whatever actually happens during the game. I don't know what's going to happen. I personally think Matt Breida will be that lead back. So number 24 is Devin Singletary. Now, Devin Singletary wasn't getting a lot of the work last week. He didn't touch the ball that many times, still had a phenomenal game because of his talent. Now, I think the Bills are going to realize, oh, he's better than TJ Yeldon. Oh, he's better than Mr. Old Man Frank Gore. So they will use Devin Singletary, in my opinion, a lot this week against the New York Football Giants. Should be a pretty good game for him if the game script goes his way, if the coach decides to play him correctly. Number 25 through 32 here. Number 25 is LaShawn McCoy going up against Oakland. Like I said, Kansas City has Damian Williams and LaShawn McCoy. They're ranked near each other because they're both pretty good backs. I think LaShawn McCoy is going to get a lot of that running work, whereas Damian Williams is going to be more of that pass-catching back. I like both of them this week. Not as much confidence in LaShawn McCoy because I think Damian Williams could really steal his touchdowns, but the same thing could be said about LaShawn McCoy. LaShawn McCoy could steal Damian Williams' touchdowns. So kind of confusing situation. I'm fine starting both of them, though. That's why he's ranked number 25. Then number 26, we have Tariq Cohen, running back / wide receiver of the Chicago Bears going up against Denver. Now, he had an amazing week 1 against the Bears. We thought it was going to be the David Montgomery show. Psych with that. It was the Tariq Cohen show. He was playing in the slot. If he plays in the slot this week, obviously slots him in at the 26 spot. Should be amazing this week if he gets that passing down work like I believe he will. Number 27, we have Chris Thompson going up against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Chris Thompson was a guy that was a nobody. Not a nobody in real life because you've seen him play before. You've played him in fantasy in the years past. But he was a no one to start last week. Darius Geis probably would have had a good game had he not been hurt. Now, Darius Geis is out probably 8 weeks, may even be out the whole season. So Chris Thompson this week should be amazing. He's the pass-catching back. Dallas is going to get up early. They will score early, so that means that they're not going to rely on Mr. Adrian Peterson. They're going to rely on Mr. Chris Thompson to catch the passes out of the backfield and score against Dallas. Now, number 28 here, we have David Montgomery going up against the Denver Broncos. Now, I know it's scary. It's going to be a scary start. I think that Matt Nagy is going to figure out how to use him. Will he figure out how to use him week 2? He should. But will he? Who really knows? That's why he's ranked so low. If they used him correctly, he'd probably be a top 20 back, but they're not using him correctly. I am still confident. I'm confident that I think eventually it will get done by like week 4. Maybe they'll figure it out. But week 2, I'm kind of worried about it, but I will still start him in certain situations. Number 29, we have Aaron Jones, Green Bay running back, going up against the Minnesota Vikings. Last week, he hit a brick wall against the Bears and did absolutely nothing for you. The Minnesota Vikings have a solid rush defense, and I think that Aaron Jones could probably get screwed out this game and not put up as many points as you wish he put up. Now, don't worry. Don't trade him away for a fucking penny. He's still worth a lot. He will be better in the next coming weeks. I talked about that in my trade video. Guys, you should trade for Aaron Jones because his schedule at the beginning of the year is pretty hard. Now, number 30, we have Latavius Murray going up against the LA Rams. Now, I know a lot of people are not on the Latavius Murray train. Oh, he's the number 2 running back on the Saints. Why is he good? Well, it's because you saw it last week. He scored a touchdown. He gets that rushing work. He catches some balls, and he's a pretty solid back at that. Better, in my opinion, than Mark Ingram from last year. I think he's going to be getting a lot of work. I like Latavius this week over some guys. Now, I realized I typed in 30 twice. Latavius is number 30. Somehow Adrian Peterson is too. So there is really just 33 on this thing. Number 31 is Adrian Peterson going up against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I know I told you I liked Chris Thompson more, but AP will still be getting that work in the game early before they're getting absolutely fucking destroyed by the Dallas Cowboys. I think AP should have a pretty solid game, and if you're looking for a flyer, I would definitely start AP in a pinch. Number 31, Philip Lindsay going up against the Chicago Bears at Denver. Now, I think that Philip Lindsay, at the beginning of the year, a lot of people were super high on him. Personally, I was not. But Philip Lindsay has a couple of hard matchups early. He's not getting that. He's not really being out there too much, not getting that much usage, so I am scared to start him. But then again, the running backs behind 32, which is Philip Lindsay, fucking suck. Miles Sanders is 32 or 33. Who knows how much work he's even going to get? Last week he saw a lot of touches, but he didn't do much with it. He did, or not a lot of touches because they fucking all split, and he didn't do all that much with it. Now, once they realize Miles Sanders is the back that he is, same with David Montgomery, he will be a guy that's a potential top 20 guy every single week. But right now, I'm nervous about Miles Sanders. He's ranked this high because there's really no one else to fucking start below him, but it is kind of scary when you fire him up. So thank you guys all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If at any point you laughed, you had a chuckle, you were like, damn, that was fucking funny, or damn, that was pretty good, click that subscribe button. If you hated the video, click the dislike button. It's fine with me. The dislike button also helps me. I hope you know that. It helps me. So click that dislike button as well. Click the like button. Have a great goddamn day. I love you all. Goodbye.